Make use of the promo code LVDBF during Black Friday to get a 15% discount on Magic singles at flipsidegaming.com while supporting the channel at the same time. Alright, let's crack some packs. And our rares this time, wow, those are 2 bombs, Tezzeret, Great Blue Mythic, and Patient Rebuilding can win the game by itself, so these are probably the 2 best blue rares you can hope to open in blue at least. And then Valiant Knight's pretty good too. Alteration's kind of medium, we didn't even play it in the previous sealed deck. Spitflame is okay. Isureth is pretty good too. So this time around we got some pretty powerful rares as well. Last time we basically only had the War Leader as a powerful one, but now we've got quite a few more. So what I like to do is just take a look at the uncommons first. So we've got Vanguard, Johnny's Pridemate, so we've got the Boros aggro deck here in the making. And then Artificer, so some okay uncommons, but kind of depends whether or not we can support the life gain theme with the Pridemate, or if we have enough artifacts for the Artificer. In blue we've got Deckhand, which is quite good. Surge Mare is great, Sift is great, Sleep goes into the more aggressive blue decks, which we may or may not end up being. In black we've got Blood Divination, which is fine if you have got some expendable creatures you don't mind sacrificing. Gravedigger is always great. Double Cast is situational, sometimes it's good, but difficult to make work. Gutter Snipe can be okay, but also requires a bit of support. The Giant's pretty good. Then in green we've got the Armor, which can sometimes be good. Combined with the Vine Mare, it's going to be quite decent. And then Colossal Majesty can sometimes also work out. And then Heroic Reinforcements, so could build a nice aggressive red-white deck here, but I doubt we'll have enough support to really make it work. And then Diamond Mare can be good. And Encyclopedia can be also a nice late-game card draw engine. So the uncommons look quite good, and especially the blue ones, where we already have the 2 rares we opened. We've got some very playable cards as well, so that's promising. Let's take a look at the commons. White has some nice aggressive cards. We've got Courser, Stag, Standout, Inspired Charge as a finisher, and then Swift Claw. It's just a 2-drop, not the best. Again, 1 toughness creatures in this format are not great since there's so many 1/3s running around. And got a Night Splash, Mighty Leap. So white's okay, so there's a chance we could end up in an aggressive white deck. But given the 2 rares we opened, we probably want to play blue at all costs. So let's take a look at the blue ones. We've got a Prodigy for the artifact theme. Disperse is always nice interaction. Acid Scatter ×2, so that's gonna be fun as well. Ghost Form's not very good. Wall of Mist could be okay in a more controlling deck. Pioneer for the artifact synergies. Cancel is another counterspell. Cancel's actually playable in this format, but Acid Scatter's way better. Divination's great, so yeah, blue looks pretty good here. Scholar of Stars for the artifact theme as well. And a Serpent, so yeah, we're definitely going to be playing blue. Question is, which color are we going to pair it with? The rest, not really a card you want to main deck. Child of Night can be okay, but again, a 1 toughness creature. Doom Dissenter is the type of card you want to sacrifice to your Blood Divinations. Infernal Scarring's kind of bad. Waltz is a card I like in the grindy sealed games. In the late game you can get back your 2 best creatures and discard a land. Sovereign Spite not very good. Hired Blade can be okay, can sometimes ambush people that don't know the format very well. Mind Rot also has its moments, especially in a slower sealed format it can be good. Bloodletter's fine, 2-headed Zombie's fine, Caress is great. So black has some cards as well, but who knows, we'll have to take a closer look to see which pairs better with blue. In red we've got Double Sure Strike as a trick. And not much else. Some Boggart Brutes are pretty good, but that's about it. So yeah, red doesn't look all that great, in terms of commons at least. And then green, Double Druid of the Cowl is exciting, since this could let us ramp into those expensive 5-drop rares in blue. Sentinel is kind of medium, but sometimes you play it. I definitely prefer it over the Highland game. Plummet and Naturalize, more sideboard cards and cards you want to main deck typically. Titanic Growth is pretty decent. Brussing Boar is okay. Rock Circle's okay. Thornhide Wolves is okay. And Dreadmaw's okay, so yeah, green has some decent things, mostly the double Druid of the Cowl I would be excited about. Let's take a look at the rest here. We've got a Manalith, ×2 for the artifact synergies and to help us ramp as well. Skyscanner is great for the artifact synergies as a 3-mana 1/1 flyer that replaces itself. And Gearsmith Guardian, if we end up in blue, of course, is going to be decent as well. And then in terms of mana fixing, got some dual lands as well. Alright, so let's build this deck. So we definitely know we're going to play blue. So let's start by adding some of the blue cards. We may or may not want the Wall of Mist. Not sure about the Cancel yet, definitely want Divination. Chill we may or may not want as well. Scholar seems good with all the artifacts we have. Not sure about the Sleep. I don't think this is going to be a Sleep deck. And not sure about the Serpent yet. So we already have quite a few playables with just a blue card, so we don't need much from the other colors. So if our win conditions are going to be Tezzeret and Patient Rebuilding, we don't really need to rely too much on being an aggressive creature deck. We can kind of play it slow, which means that the white cards don't really offer much, like Courser and Starcrown Stag are great cards, but they pair better with high-powered creatures, which blue doesn't really offer. So I don't think white is going to be the right fit for this deck. Black offers a few cheap creatures that could trade off. And more importantly, the Lich's Caress is a nice removal spell. So that could be a reason to go black, mostly for the Lich's Caress. Hey, thanks for the bits there, Zeddy. Isareth, of course, would also be decent. Red doesn't offer much at all, other than maybe a Spitflame. And then green, as we mentioned, has the double Druid of the Cowl, which pairs well with our expensive 5-drops, so we can play them ahead of schedule. And offer some beefy creatures that we can use to hold the fort and maybe trade off. So overall, I think the green cards probably offer the most, but we might not even play a ton of them. Yeah, if we had an extra Lich's Caress or another removal spell in black, I might be tempted to pair blue with a black instead. But I definitely like the double Druid of the Cowl here. Then I'm not sure if we need the Sentinel. Might not even be a Titanic Growth deck since we're not going to play a ton of creatures. Still want the Vinemare, of course, the Boar is fine, the Wolves and the Dreadmaw. Not sure if we want Oracle, maybe. And I'm not sure about the Colossal Majesty since we might not have enough creatures for it. So I could also consider the Encyclopedia since we do have a bit of artifact synergy. Double Skyscanner is going to make the deck. Guardian's going to make the deck. So we're actually close to just having a mono blue deck. But it might be worth it to play green just for the ramp that the Druid provides. So let's see. How would a mono blue deck look like? Just out of curiosity. I mean, we're almost there. We could play another Wall of Mist. We could play the Sleep if we really wanted to, or Alteration. Could play some Manaliths as more ramp. I mean, the mono blue deck, and I guess Diamond Mare is going to be okay for mono blue. So maybe we're actually better off just being mono blue. Although we do have to make sure we still have a way to win the game, other than Patient Rebuilding and Tezzeret if we draw them too late. I mean, this honestly looks quite okay. Maybe throw in a Manalith. How's our curve looking like? I guess we'll take a look over here. So Prodigy is going to be good with all the artifacts just as a 1-mana 2/2. Deckhand, nice evasive creature that can also win the game potentially. Double Wall as decent blockers. Surgemare kind of does the same but better. Diamond Mare to gain a bit of life, another cheap blocker, disperses interaction, double Acid Scatter, and Cancel's gonna have to be a removal since our deck is lacking removal. That's the one problem that it has. We don't have much in the way of removal, so we're going to have to rely on the counter spells. Double Sky Scanner Pioneer provides a bit of artifacts for artifact synergies. Divination to draw, Chill to cycle, Encyclopedia to draw, Monolith to ramp us into our 5-drops a turn ahead of schedule, Scholar to draw, Sift to draw, so we've got a lot of card draw. Gearsmith Guardian as a nice blocker, and then our 2 main win conditions, and a Serpent as a nice curve topper, so this deck looks okay. The main issue I have with it is that we're lacking removal, but if we look at the other colors, it's not like we have much in the way of removal. In white, we don't have anything. In blue, well, I guess Alteration could kind of be a thing. In black, we just have the one Lich's Caress, which isn't much. In red, we have a one-of Spitflame, which is about it. And in green, we don't have anything other than maybe a Plummet. So it's not like our pool has much removal, so it's not like we're missing out on much by staying mono blue. Could potentially splash one of the removal spells, like the Spitflame is splashable at single red. Could be doable, especially with a Highland Lake in the deck as well. So that could be an option. Let's read Alteration one more time. So when it enters the battlefield, choose a creature. Enchanted creature is a copy of the chosen creature. So Alteration, if we're playing cards like Wall of Mist, could actually be okay, since we can just turn the opponent's big creature into a Wall of Mist, and we don't really care about it, since our win conditions don't care about our opponent having an 0-5 in play, since Tezzeret just makes a bunch of Thopters, and Patient Rebuilding just mills out the opponent. So Alteration actually looks okay in this deck. So I don't know if it's worth it to splash red for the Spitflame. It might be. Just as a nice 3 mana 4 damage instant. Yeah, it might be okay. We do have a dual land to make it a bit less painful. And a Monolith as well. So we don't need many mountains to make this work. In a 40 card deck, we would need about 12 sources to reliably cast the cancel on turn 3. Having 12 islands plus a Highland Lake seems just about right. So I think we can make this work. 4 mountains, a Highland Lake, 12 islands, and then just splash for a Spitflame. Like, we could play fewer mountains, but sometimes you'll want to be able to cast a Spitflame early if your opponent's on the beatdown plan with a bunch of auras, or if they play a stag you need to kill right away. So that's why I think we want to play as many mountains as we can afford to play, even though we could get away with fewer just to splash the Spitflame, but then we wouldn't be playing the Spitflame early. And 12 islands plus Highland Lake plus Monolith is still gonna give us double blue very reliably. So I think this is okay. Like, our Surge Mare is gonna be a little bit worse, but we've got a ton of 2-drops anyway. So I don't think that's a major problem. I guess we need to make 2 more cuts as well. So what are we cutting? The Prodigy is definitely on a cutting block. Let's separate some of the cards here. So Prodigy is cuttable. The Chill is cuttable. The Monolith is potentially cuttable, and the Sea Serpent is potentially cuttable as well. So I think between those we want to make 2 cuts. Yeah, the Monolith might not be necessary. Even though it does let us play our 5-drops a turn ahead of schedule, we've got way too many 3-drops already. And then I think I'll cut the Chill as well, since it's pretty low impact. If we're going to be blocking with a wall, shrinking down their creatures is not going to let us kill them in combat. So I think this is okay. And then keep the Serpent as an additional win condition potentially. Yeah, Arcane Encyclopedia does play well with our counter spells. We can keep up mana. If we don't have to use Essence Scatter or Cancel, we can just draw a card instead. Alright, this hand looks decent. Hopefully we draw land for Divination, but turn 2 Surge Mare. We'll hold the fort. Any land lets us Pioneer or Divination. Pioneer into Scholar is a great sequence as well. Alright, let's hope to draw land. Alright, so we can attack with the Surge Mare, but our opponent probably happy to block with the Doom Dissenter. But if we don't draw land next turn, then we might want to attack with the Surge Mare just to get to draw discard. So I think we will attack. And then just get rid of the Doom Dissenter for now. and turn it into a zombie. Alright, more Doom Dissenters, so the Surge Mare is not gonna be able to do much here. Well, I guess we'll play a Diamond Mare. Name blue. And hope we find a land soon. If we find a land, I think I'm leaning towards Divination, since now we already have the artifact in play for the Scholar anyway. Alright, let's Divination, make sure we don't keep missing our land drops, since we have our 2 win conditions in hand. So if we get to 5 mana, we'll be in a good spot. So next turn we can play the Scholar, which trades for the Basilisk. We've got the Diamond Mare gaining a life, Diamond Mare plus Surge Mare holding the fort on the ground. So I like our position. Gravedigger getting back a 1/1 is totally fine. And a Wall of Mist looking good too. Alright, so next turn we're definitely still gonna play one of our 5 drops instead of keeping up Acid Scatter, but good to have afterwards. Question is, which 5 drop do we lead with? Do we want to rebuild patiently first, or do we want to play a Tezzeret first? Usually the earlier we play our Planeswalker the better, since it won't be able to get pressured as much. But rebuilding is our primary win condition. And we might risk decking ourselves if we don't play the patient rebuilding as soon as possible. And it also draws more cards potentially, so I think we'll rebuild first. And yeah, I mean, we don't even have to play Tezzeret to win this game. We can just sit here and try and protect our life total as much as possible. Alright, opponent is gonna start attacking. This is fine, and then we'll just make some blocks. They might have a pump spell, but that's okay. Rise from the Grave getting back our Scholar, that's totally fine. We have potentially access to 6 mana, which is not enough for Wall of Mist, Acid Scatter and anything else. If we play the Highland Lake, we can play Pioneer, keep up Acid Scatter. I think keeping up Acid Scatter is probably good here. Could also play Encyclopedia, keep up 3 mana, which lets us draw a card and play Acid Scatter. But let's say they destroy the Patient Rebuilding somehow with a Reclamation Sage or a main deck Naturalize. Then we don't want to be too far behind in terms of cards in library. So we also kind of want to work on our plan B. Could just play a Tezzeret and make a Thopter, but I feel like we can play Tezzeret while keeping up Acid Scatter later to play it safe. So between a Wall and a Pioneer, I think I prefer Pioneer, since that way we also get to play our tap land. It's a bit more mana efficient. And say go. And then next turn we could go Tezzeret plus keep up Acid Scatter, or we might play a Wall instead, we'll see. Opponent sending, let's make some blocks. I think we're fine letting them have a zombie here. Don't know if we want to block with the Pioneer on the Dissenter, or if we just want to take 4. This is probably fine though. Could also pump the Surge Mare to kill the zombie. Might be better. But then we are shields down on Acid Scatter for the turn. So I think I prefer blocking the Scholar, but then not pump the Surge Mare. Let damage happen. The life gain from the Diamond Mare is going to be quite useful here too. Just want to be able to counter something like a Colossal Dreadmaw that might trample over our blockers. That one we can't counter, sadly. Finds a Basilisk, which can fight one of our blockers here and kill it. So we could pump it, but then it dies. Alright, so sure. Alteration's looking good. Could just play Tezzeret, make a Thopter, keep up Acid Scatter. Yeah, probably want to save the alteration to either shrink down an opposing creature or to make one of our creatures into a Sea Serpent, potentially. I kind of like playing Tezzeret, just make our opponent spend an entire attack step on Tezzeret, and we're fine if Tezzeret dies. Keep up Acid Scatter, could also play Wall of Mist, but I think we want to keep up Acid Scatter as long as possible. Opponent's got 16 cards left, we've got 19 left. Alternative would be playing Sea Serpent, but then we're shields down on Acid Scatter, which I don't like. So yeah, let's play Tezzeret. Wall plus Sky Scatter would have also been reasonable. But here we're totally fine if Tezzeret dies, if it absorbs a ton of damage. Alright, so opponent's attacking us with everyone. Let's make some blocks. Could double block one of the 2/2s. I guess we could also double block Scholar, but double blocking a 2/2 means we at least get to kill it and we only lose the Pioneer. So right now we would be taking 7, 8 down to 11. That's acceptable. Gravedigger can get back something spicy here. I think we want to save the Acid Scatter for something bigger. Another Basilisk is a little bit annoying since we can't block it well with the Serpents. Maybe it's fine to just Acid Scatter the Basilisk here. Sure. Ooh, opponent had a Liliana Planeswalker as well. And a Rabbit Bind gone, that's good. I think we want to keep making Thopters with Tezzeret, we don't really need to draw more cards. And then we can go Serpent plus Wall of Mist, or Serpent plus Alteration, turn a Thopter into a Serpent, which might be good too now that the opponent is tapped out. I think I like that, so we'll make a Thopter, play Serpents, and then need to make sure to play this correctly. So choose a creature, enchant that creature is a copy of the chosen creature. So we want to enchant the thing we're going to transform, which is going to be the Thopter. And we're going to choose the Sea Serpents. Alright. So we've got 2 Sea Serpents for 8 mana, not bad. So those will be able to block the opposing creatures pretty well. While the Patient Rebuilding works on their library here, 11 cards left. And now if they start attacking Tezzeret, we're gonna be in good shape. I guess they're afraid of Tezzeret's ultimate, but it's -9, so it's pretty far away. I guess we can save Tezzeret for one more turn here. We don't have to jump here, Tezzeret's only taking 5. If they have a pump spell, that's fine. Yeah, I think this is okay. Alright, Strangling Spores to finish off one of the Serpents. Opponent down to 8 cards. Make another token. I guess we can also play a Sky Scanner first, see what we draw. Alright, let's play some walls. Alright, and our opponent has seen enough. Yeah, Patient Rebuilding is a pretty messed up card. So, missed a few land drops early, but Divination drew us into 2 lands and then we were off to the races. Sweet, so 1-0 with almost mono blue. Alright, this hand's acceptable. Turn 1 Prodigy turns into a 2/2 thanks to Diamond Mare, Acid Scatter as interaction. And then hope to draw into one of our win conditions soon. black-white, so they might have a small life gain theme. Child of Knights. Not the best in the face of Diamond Mare. And we'll show them the red. And then next turn we have to decide whether we want to keep up Asset Scatter or play the wall. I think I'll favor keeping up Asset Scatter, since then the turn after we can do both. Alright, maybe we want to play a wall anyway here to block the line breaker. But I don't want them to resolve a scary 4-drop. We're okay trading the Prodigy for the line breaker here. I think I'll play Untapped Island just to represent cancel, so that they have to respect that as well. So let's say they have an instant speed removal spell. If we block Prodigy on line breaker and they instant speed kill Diamond Mare, we would be in a bit of trouble, since then we would lose both. But by keeping up double blue, they might have to respect a cancel as well as a potential play, since we have enough lands in hand anyway that I don't think the tap land is going to be an issue. More Childs of Knights. And a Falcon. Alright. Don't think we need to counter that. But it's definitely a consideration, since it is an evasive creature. We don't have an evasive blocker at the moment. Now we can play the wall, keep up Asset Scatter. If the Diamond Mare dies, then the Childs can start getting the opponent a bunch of life, but we don't really care since our win conditions don't rely on dealing damage. So Diamond Mare dies. I think this trade is fine. Don't have an artifact in hand to make Prodigy into a 2-2 anytime soon to trade for the line breaker. So we'll take 3. Alright, we will need to draw some action soon since our hand's not very good. Right now we're taking 3 damage a turn. But hopefully we can counter something big here. Alright, that was a good trade for us. Oof. Alright. Well, if we draw something like a Sift, we can discard a land at least. We've got Divination, Sift, Encyclopedia as nice card draw engines, as well of course as Tezzeret and the Patient Rebuilding. And Gravedigger getting back a stag. Yeah, we're in a rough spot here. Gonna need to get lucky from here to still have a chance. Second Wall of Mist has nodded. Yeah, it's a lot easier when you have a turn 5 Patient Rebuilding drawing you extra cards. We'll pretend like we have something in hand, but obviously we would have countered the stag if we had anything. Alright, Sift gives us a bit of hope. Luckily the deck hand doesn't die when it gets targeted by an ability, only by a spell. So the stag is not going to be able to kill it with its ability, so it's a bit different from the illusions back in the day. And a cage. Well, at least they used it on a wall instead of on a Patient Rebuilding or a Tezzeret. But we might be dead here. Trade with the Linebreaker. Down to 1. Alright. And there it is, a bit too late. Alright, so we're dead here. I guess we'll show them. Alright, GG's. Could also be a sign that we should maybe mulligan a bit more aggressively to have one of our powerful cards in our opening hand. But if we drew any of our card draw spells early, Encyclopedia, Divination, Sift, we would have been fine, I think. And what about this one? Looks okay, we've got Encyclopedia to draw cards. Alteration can maybe turn the opponent's best creature into the worst creature, and Acid Scatter. So, don't have any blockers early, but we've got a few in the deck. So turn 2 Acid Scatter, turn 3 we're gonna tap out for Encyclopedia, and if we didn't have to use Acid Scatter we can keep it up going forward. Alright, I might be tempted to play the Diamond Mare here, since I doubt we'll have to counter their 2-drop. Name blue. And then play Encyclopedia, and then keeping up Acid Scatter becomes a lot easier when you can draw a card if they don't play anything. And Acid Scatter is not going to work on the Encyclopedia. There's no negate in the format, so... And I don't even feel compelled to attack, since their opponent could have a... destroy a tapped creature, although I doubt I'll use it on the Diamond Mare, so maybe it's still fine to attack for 1. You never know, this could turn into a game where we actually have to win with damage. So it's probably worth it. I doubt I'll spend their 3rd turn killing a Diamond Mare with a Take Vengeance. Sky Scanner, alright. It's okay, we've got plenty of 1/1 flyers ourselves. Scholar of Stars, that's tempting. We do have an alteration anyway to shrink something down if they play, let's say, an Engineer next turn that we need to get rid of. Alright, Cage to get rid of the Encyclopedia. We were kind of hoping to keep the Encyclopedia around, but again, if they're using it here, they're not using it on a Tezzeret or our other win condition. And yeah, we're just kind of curving out here. Aviation Pioneer into Drill Master, sure. Don't think we're altering anything. I guess we could alter Diamond Mare into a Guardian, which would be okay. And then attack with 2 Guardians. It's probably fine. Don't want to attack with a Scholar since we don't want to lose our blue creature for the Guardian. And we don't really need the life gain from Diamond Mare anymore if we're on the beatdown plan. So, let's target Diamond Mare. Turn it into a Gearsmith Guardian. Attack with both. Might see some chum blocks, we'll see. Yeah, Alteration definitely not a great card. Kind of one of our last additions, but in this deck where we can turn an opposing creature into a Wall of Mist, it seems okay. Since we're just so short on removal otherwise. Would much prefer a Dwindle. But it seems playable here. So opponent with a double chum block, preserving their life total. And a Take Vengeance. Alright, it's too bad. Still have 1/5/5 and Divination. Alright. Would love to find some of our own card draw here. Sky Scanner. Into Surge Mare, alright. Kinda doing it here. Still not gonna attack with a Scholar, although now, with the Surge Mare, we're less sad if the Scholar dies, since we'll still have a backup blue creature. But trading a 3/2 for a 2/1 doesn't seem great necessarily, although by trading we make it less likely our opponent can trade for the 5/5. Yeah, that's pretty annoying. We might want to counter this. It's close. Like, it's not the most problematic creature, but it does buy them a lot of time. And hope they don't have something better here, like an Engineer as a follow-up. Alright, Drake. Drake is still acceptable. I definitely want to keep land in hand in case we can discard it to Surgemare. So I think this is a turn where we attack with everyone, except for Skyscanner. Just so we can get in the hit with the Surgemares to start looting. Alright, they're gonna block the Surgemare, so if we pump now it would just be a trade. So we would probably just... interesting. This one I don't get as much. Since now if we just pump Surgemare we get to kill Skyscanner for free. Alright, deal. Opponent down to 4. We've got 2 creatures that can potentially deal 4 damage. They've got 2 cards in hand. Ooh, Gin of Wishes, that's a good one. Definitely wish we still had our Essence Scatter now. Alright, at least they don't get to activate it quite yet. But it is a 4/4 flyer. Hopefully they're just forced to trade it off. Pioneers, okay. Think we send both. Don't think we attack with the Skyscanner quite yet. Might be able to go wide with the Pioneer next turn. Looks like a chump and a trade. That's fine. Happy to trade Surgemare for the Djinn. Alright, that went well. So yeah, getting our opponent to a low life total meant they had to trade away their great creature for a medium creature. So definitely got away with one there. Probably should have played our land now that we traded the Surgemare in case we find a card draw spell and need more lands in play. Scholar's not a bad follow-up. But they're still on chump block duty unless they have another play here. So we can attack with everyone. I guess we'll Skyscanner. If we draw into a removal spell, they're dead. Cancel's a nice one to have. Alright, this game should be over. Opponent's at 1, we've got a counterspell in hand. Nah. If they have a counterspell back, they would survive for 1 extra turn, as they would go to 5 and then we have 4 on the way back. They would probably still die afterwards anyway. Sweet. Alright, this hand seems good. Turn 2 Deckhand or Surgemare, turn 3 Divination to refuel Essence Scatter as interaction. Alright, opponent with a pretty similar start to our deck, Prodigy into Surgemare. So we're going to want to play our own Surgemare here, I think, to block their Surgemare. Playing Deckhand doesn't block all that well, since Surgemare can become a 2/3. Alright. They could be holding up their own counterspell here. If it's an Essence Scatter, playing Divination would be nice. If it's a cancel, then it doesn't really matter. Could also keep up our own Essence Scatter here. But I would prefer to do that next turn when we can also play a Deckhand alongside it. Think we will Divination. And I'm fine if they want to cancel this. Since of course we've got the 5-drops in our deck that we really care about. Opponent's got 4 mana, maybe a Bristling Boar, maybe a Scholar of Stars with no artifacts. They're just gonna say go. Alright. We're happy to play a long grindy game here. So now we'll play Deckhand, keep up Essence Scatter, next turn play Skyscanner, keep up Essence Scatter, turn after Scholar of Stars, keep up Essence Scatter. You get the gist. And in the meantime, the deckhand can get in there. Alright. Let's send in the deckhand. They could kill the deckhand with a pump spell here too, which is something we have to keep in mind, but there's not much we can do about it, so let's attack. I don't think they have any spirits in play, so they take 2. We'll play Scannerino. Draw a card. Say go. And if we draw land, we can play 4-drop plus keep up Acid Scatter, otherwise we'll play another 3, I think. Opponent's not doing much, don't mind. Alright, they might want to counter a Scholar of Stars. Nope. Who knows what they're holding. But we're doing fine here. Hitting our land drops, putting more stuff into play for them to deal with. Getting in some damage, and we still haven't drawn our good cards. Meteor Golem. That's worth an Acid Scatter, I think. Alright, if we drew one of our good 5s, we could resolve them now. Instead of Diamond Mare. We could dig for them using Sift, but then we can't cast them. Skyscanner also doesn't leave enough mana to cast a 5-drop, so we just want to play our best cards here pretty much. Sift could potentially draw us into another counterspell, which is also worth noting. Or we could just play Guardian plus Diamond Mare. I kind of like Sifting for another counterspell, since I feel like if the board doesn't change too much, we'll be favored. So let's Sift first. Alright, there's Tezzeret. Probably don't need all the lands. So this is attacking, might as well attack with the Scholar. So this is fine. So they'll take 3. And I think we'll play Skyscanner over Pioneer. Alright, cancel, so next turn we can go Tezzeret plus cancel, which is gonna be great too. Opponent's got a white mana, so maybe they were missing a color earlier, and they all had white cards in hand. Exclusion Mage. Can bound Surge Mare, and they can attack with their Surge Mare, so attacking with the Scholar maybe wasn't necessary last turn, since we opened ourselves up to Surge Mare connecting. And a Drill Master, that's fine. So our opponent's almost empty-handed here, and we are not. So I don't mind our spot. Alright, we'll take 5. Can live with it. But yeah, we could have prevented some of this by keeping the Scholar back. Opponent discards a land. Spit Flame, not bad either. So now we can just protect the Queen here, the Queen being Tezzeret. So don't even feel compelled to attack with the deckhand, since we'll just win the game if Tezzeret stays in play a couple turns. Another one. Alright. I don't think we need to draw cards with Tezzeret, but we could. Or we could make a Thopter. Drawing 2 cards is kind of tempting. So we've got 9 mana total, which is enough for Guardian plus Surge Mare plus Diamond Mare. It's probably fine. And then we can start attacking with the deckhand. 14 cards remaining, so decking not a concern yet. So play Diamond Mare. Name blue. Play Surge Mare. Gain a life. Play Guardian. And get in for 5 total, no spirits over there still. Maybe could have left 1 or 2 tokens back, but next turn we can just attack for lethal using the deckhand's ability, so probably worth it. So your opponent's pretty dead here. So a bit of a strange game where our opponent spent a lot of time doing nothing. We got to Essence Scatter 7-drop, cancel 7-drop, and then they didn't have much left over. So far the game we lost was mostly due to drawing a few too many lands. Hey, thanks for the 400 bits there, Umami. And glad you could learn something. This hand seems good. Turn 3 Encyclopedia, turn 4 Scholar, draw a card. And then Sift to draw more cards. So we're gonna draw a lot of cards. The question is, are we gonna die to an aggressive start? Maybe. But we're gonna die drawing cards, so can't be too upset. And now with the Wall of Mist, we feel a lot safer. Well, this is gonna be a pretty sweet curve if we can draw 1 more land. Wall of Mist into Encyclopedia, into Scholar, into Tezzeret. Hey, thanks for the subscription there. Airman Spaz, welcome to the Loyal Legion to you as well. Scholar of Stars seems good. And a Vampire Neonate, sure. Alright, let's hope they don't have a Hieromancer's Cage like our last 2 opponents. Probably should have attacked first with a Scholar there, but oh well. Hard Blade trading for Scholar, deal. We got to draw a card from our 3-2. They got to gain 1 life. I think I'll take the card over it any day of the week. Cavalry, alright. Guardian's gonna need to survive to put up some nice defenses here. Let's trade off. And we could also play a Serpent now, I guess. It's more mana efficient, so sure, why not? Guardian would give us an extra artifact for Tezzeret's 0 ability. But for the time being, we're gonna be making a bunch of Thopter tokens instead. And our opponent has seen enough. Alright, can't blame them. Turn 5 Tezzeret with a good start. It's gonna be hard to beat. Alright, 4 and 1, let's keep it up. This hand seems okay. On the draw at least we get a good chance of drawing a 3rd land. Can definitely attack, and I don't think we're casting a Divination since we have the land for next turn anyway. Probably just a Sky Scanner. Starground Stag's definitely an issue, since this hand doesn't really have the best answer to it. So we're gonna take a hit from the stag, but then maybe next turn we can disperse it. I think I like divination here, get into our deck a bit faster, and maybe get to one of our powerful 5-drops next turn. I guess single red keeps up shock, even though we don't have a shock in our deck. Alright, Wall and Scholar, 2 good draws, since now next turn we can go Scholar, draw a card, and the Scholar threatens to trade off for the Starcrown stag. Alright, well now the Disperse is looking even better. So I think we want to disperse a stag in the opponent's upkeep, so if they do have a cancel, they have to tap the mana in their turn instead of being able to use it now. So we can go a 3-drop plus disperse, which means we probably want a Sky Scanner over the Wall of Mist, and then the 2 Sky Scanners can block the Aven Wind Mage potentially. Alright, that worked. Knight of the Tusk, that's okay. Can block it with our wall. I think we still double block even though we have a Scholar of Stars, we have plenty more artifacts on the way, and just getting rid of the flyer seems good. Opponent definitely should have attacked before playing the knight there. Now we could just play a Serpent as well, or we can go Wall plus Sifts. I kind of like Wall plus Sift, since it's not like the Serpent's going to be attacking anytime soon. So let's Sift first. Alright, there's a Patient Rebuilding. So what do we get rid of? So we're probably fine discarding the Prodigy. Although there is the argument of keeping all the cheap cards, since now that we found Patient Rebuilding, we're not too worried about drawing cards, so we just want to be able to empty our hand as quickly as possible. And of course Alteration can go on the stag to prevent it tapping down our stuff. So yeah, we definitely want to play Patient Rebuilding, and then I don't mind using Alteration, turning the stag into a wall. And again, there's no negate in the set, so we don't have to fear a counterspell. Stag becomes wall, and I'm still gonna attack here, might as well. Opponents got their own Sift, that's okay. It's gonna make it easier to mill them with the Patient Rebuilding now. 24 cards remaining. So at the rate of 4 cards a turn, it's gonna take us 5-6 turns to mill them. Alright. So now we can go Diamond Mare, naming blue, into Sea Serpent. Guess we'll attack first. Could also just win with damage here. Can make Serpent unblockable next turn with the deckhand, as well as the Diamond Mirror, and we've got 7 damage. So the deckhand putting in the work here. 2/2 unblockable, and then the last turn makes a bunch more unblockables. So Lena not too relevant here. So yeah, we've got enough mana to make 2 things unblockable. For single blue, I don't think they have anything. And they don't have any spirits. So might as well win the game. Yeah, deckhand's a good card. Sweet. Alright, so I think that puts us to 5-1, so one more win to get our gems back, and then 2 more wins for the 7 wins. This hand seems totally fine. We're lacking the artifacts, but got a nice curve into a Tezzeret. Alright, opponent's got their own deckhand. Definitely going to be an issue for us. Unless we find our own deckhand, because then we can just block. Alright, Skyscanner's good, so now we can go Skyscanner into Scholar, draw a card. Alright, let's play our own scanner. I guess we can attack first, since we're not blocking there anyway. Now we want to play Skyscanner first. Yeah, we're not going to be pumping the Surge Mare, so might as well attack for 2. Alright. Wall of Mist is not a spirit, it's just a wall. So we have our 2-mana enchantment that could take out the deckhand, we have our Spit Flame that could kill the deckhand, and we've got our own deckhand to block the deckhand. Those are the answers we have, I think. So I didn't want to trade there because of the Scholar and because of the Gearsmith Prodigy synergy. But now I think we're okay trading Skyscanners. So yeah, the deckhand is the biggest problem right now. Could also build up some artifacts to then draw extra cards with Tezzerets to find an answer, but I think we want to trade to prevent more damage. And at some point the deckhand can start targeting other creatures as well. Oof, that was a timely top deck. Alright, so their opponent's keeping up 5 mana, which makes playing Tezzeret kind of awkward anyway. So I think we just want to Spit Flame the deckhand while we get the chance. So we'll attack with our Scholar, since can block the board anyway with the Surge Mare. Don't think we attack with the Surge Mare. And then we can play Wall, and then kill the deckhand. And even if they counter the Spit Flame, the deckhand's still gonna die to its own ability. I'm okay if they make the Bristling Boar unblockable. If they spend 4 mana making Boar unblockable here, that's acceptable, I think. So we can keep up Spit Flame just in case. Alright, they're gonna make Boar unblockable, sure. So still gonna kill the deckhand here. So we'll take 4, down to 9, but then we have a good chance of resolving Tezzeret and take over the game from there. And our opponent scoops it up. Well, apparently Tezzeret is a 5 mana, you win the game. So the Red Splash, proving its worth in that game. And what do we get? A March of the Multitudes. I think we already had 4, but okay, I'll take it. 6-1. See if we can win the last one. So at least we made our gems back, so we got a bunch of boosters for free. Alright. And yeah, this hand's pretty similar to our last one, but instead of Tezzeret we have a Patient Rebuilding. So I'll keep, and hope to draw 2 lands here. Surge Mare can also help us find more lands. Ooh, turn 2 Giant Greenseeker, that's a very good one too. So we get to loot, discard maybe the wall to find land 5. Sift is good. So I think we will discard the wall. Could also discard the Guardian, but it's going to be a decent blocker here. So next turn we can Sift, make sure we have land 5 for rebuilding, play rebuilding turn 5, and then Guardian turn 6. Might as well attack first here. But we're not gonna pump the Surge Mare. So maybe it wasn't worth it to attack with the Surge Mare in case of a haste creature. Alright, they can't block the Surge Mare to begin with. I forgot this has more text. Yeah, can be blocked by green creatures. Alright, what do we discard? Probably don't need both lands, is my guess, since our follow-up play is going to be a 5-drop anyway. So we've got time to draw into more lands. So keep the mountain. And then play a Patient Rebuilding next turn. Hope they don't have a main deck Naturalize or Invoke the Divine. Ooh, Starcrowned Stag. Could be somewhat of an issue, but they haven't had the most aggressive draws, so we might be able to beat it. Green Seeker versus Patient Rebuilding. I prefer to be on the Patient Rebuilding side of things, but Green Seeker is very good too. Already drew the opponent 2 extra cards. Vinemare, alright. Can be blocked by black creatures, that's not an issue. But if they have an enchantment for it, we could be in trouble. So we'll take 3 here. And we'll start milling. And hopefully drawing some extra cards. So milled 1 land, Armasaur Courser, so we get to draw 1 extra card. Ooh, double Acid Scatter is nice. Sadly, if we play Guardian, we can't keep up Acid Scatter. So, what to do? We could just play a Sky Scanner, which keeps up Acid Scatter, and then Prodigy's a 2-power creature, so we could double block the Stag, or the Vinemare. Of course, Acid Scatter doesn't help if they have a combat trick. We also have the Surge Mare, which threatens to pump and block the Stag, of course. So I think we do play Sky Scanner. And we're totally fine trading off Sky Scanner here, even though we would like to keep artifacts around for Scholar. Given that we're drawing a million cards anyway with the Patient Rebuilding. So yeah, our opponent can either tap the Surge Mare, or they can tap one of our powered creatures, but then we can still block with the Surge Mare as well to trade off for the Stag. But then of course we're shields down on Acid Scatter, so we'll see. They're gonna attack with both. And tap down Surge Mare. Alright, let's hope they don't have a trick, but even if they do, it's not the end of the world. And I think we prefer blocking here, since Scholar trades for Vinemare pretty cleanly. Lightning Strike, fair enough. Don't really feel too inclined to counter this, but we do want to use our mana and we don't want to fall too far behind on board. So I think I'm going to counter it anyway, even though it feels kind of bad. Alright, mill 2 lands. Alright, so we do want to get on the board here, so I think we'll play the Gearsmith Guardian. And then hope to convert Acid Scatter, countering something big here. Since this turn our opponent is not required to play any pump spells, since they can just tap down Guardian, attack with everyone, and get in for a bunch of damage. So they might use this turn to play more creatures, which we can then Acid Scatter. They're still going to keep the Green Seeker back. So they tap down Guardian, we'll block the Stag still, since keeping the Surge Mare around still valuable. And at 12 life, taking 5, even with a Titanic Growth, still feels relatively safe. Could take another look at our opponent's deck. Yeah, they could easily have one Titanic Growth. Hopefully they don't have two of them. Alright. Yep, definitely want to counter that one. Alright, so we had a good turn here, countering the Siegebreaker Giant, which otherwise could have been a huge problem. And a Patient Rebuilding keeps on providing extra cards. Opponent did have a main deck Plummets, so they might also have a main deck Naturalize, who knows. So here, 8 mana would let us go Scholar plus Pioneer. I think I like that over the Serpent here, make more blockers, which is good against the Stag. So I guess we'll play Scholar first, and if we draw something relevant, we might play it over the Pioneer. Alright, Alteration's good too, so now we could just Alteration on the Stag. Or we could just play Pioneer. I'm not sure which is better. Right now, if our opponent plays a big flyer, we don't have a great answer to it, so we might want to keep Alteration to answer a big flyer that they might have, like a dragon. Whereas a Stag, we should be able to handle this turn if we play the Pioneer. So I think that's how we'll play it. And then next turn we can go Serpent plus Alteration. And now we'll just try and play around as many effects as possible. So given a chance, we'll definitely play around Titanic Growth. Opponent's got 14 cards remaining, 13 now. So it doesn't take much here. Just need to survive a couple turns. Colossal Majesty's totally fine. It's gonna help us mill them even faster. And a Knightly Valor, alright. On the Stag, so now the Alteration's looking a bit better. Could still easily die, but I think we're favored. We still have 17 cards left, so we're definitely going to mill the opponent before we deck. So this seems like a pretty straightforward block, and then we can just chump with the Pioneer here. Seems fine. Could also triple block the Stag and then chump Divine Mare. But since we have the Alteration for the Stag, I think that's not necessary. Alright, they did have a Sparktongue Dragon. And also a Colossal Dreadmaw. Alright, let's alter. So what do we want to turn the Stag into? I mean, we could also just turn a 1/1 token into another Serpent. Maybe that's better. Could also turn the Stag into a Surge Mare. Since they don't have any blue mana anyway. It's probably better than the Green Seeker. Alright, let's do that. Alright, just gonna play defense here. Alright, opponent's still activating the Green Seeker here, trying to get every bit of card advantage they can. So the Majesty didn't draw them any cards since they lost their 4-powered creature. So they've got 9 cards left, so we need to survive 3 turns here. Should be doable. I guess we can play Skyscanner first. Don't need double red. And Disperse is great insurance to have here. Alright, sweet. Play Diamond Mare, name blue. Play Encyclopedia. Play land, say go. Alright, it's gonna take something special to lose this one. Opponent's got 5 cards remaining. So they were red, green, splashing white for, I guess, a Stag. And then a Knightly Valor. Tormenting Voice, yep. And oof, boy. Yeah, well, that's something special, but we've got to disperse to gain 1 life here, so we can actually survive. Oh boy. Alright, so what do we bounce? I guess we bounce the token. It's probably fine. Yeah. Oh boy, Banefire for 7, but we've got the Diamond Mare to gain 1. That was a close call. And our opponent scoops it up. Wow. That was pretty crazy. That's as close as it gets. So yeah, nice. 2 7-win runs with M19 Sealed. Diamond Mare saves the day. And if this were a pack 1 pick 1, what would we take? Graveyard Marshal's pretty decent. Deckhand, as we could see in the Sealed run, was pretty powerful too. Druid of the Cowl, premium 2-dropping green as well, letting you ramp early. Probably between the Marshal and the Deckhand. And here, probably the Luminous Bonds, but Sift and Reclamation Sage are great too. Cleric is just okay as well, but I think I prefer Sift and Reclamation Sage over it for the most part, as they provide a bit more value. And finally, a Mythic Wildcard, I'll take it. Alright, so that was a pretty fun deck. Got to see both Tezzeret and our enchantment in action. Banefire was definitely the card that could kill us there, but they maybe should have waited 1 more turn to Banefire us for a bit more, since they did Tormenting Voice into Banefire, so had they maybe waited 1 turn and cast a Banefire with 2 extra mana, they could have killed us. So that's gonna be it. I wanna thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day. I also want to thank all my patrons for being part of the channel, and you can become a patron yourself today and decide the topic of future videos over at patreon.com/LegenVD.